Welcome friends. We have already seen how exception handling works in the module number 18. Now, we are going to talk a little more about exception handling in this module number 19. What we are going to look at in this particular module is, we will have a deeper view on exception handling. We have talked about that stack, catch and throw, okay. And now we are going to see how exactly they are going to work and what are the consequences of using them. First, we will talk about how to have multiple catch statements in a given program, how to manage them, and how to replace some of the default exception handling responses. For example, when we say that when there is nobody to catch the exception, the program eventually the exception handling system calls terminate, which terminates the program. Now, you want to change that thing, you would like to provide your own way of doing it, handling it, then you can do it. The same thing, there is something called exception specification. You can, the designer can guarantee that my function will not throw anything other than the exception specification that I am providing. And if it does so, if somehow the function throws something else, again the same problem occurs. So, even in that case, there is a mechanism for providing it. So, we will see how that is done. We will see two functions, set terminate and set unexpected. For that, we have already seen that problem, a destructor calling an exception, which again is a problem. How to handle that problem also is seen in this particular module. Okay. So, how to catch multiple exceptions? Okay. So, you have multiple catch here 1, 2, 3 and this thing. Okay. Now, you can write something like this immediately after a try block. If the try block throws something, will come here. If does not throw, is just fine. Please understand that try does not mean that it will always throw something, will not throw is absolutely fine, catch will not be invoked. Okay. But if that throws int, will done, this part is done, character, then this part is done, new x, then this part is done. Now, it has a function, display function. Okay. I have added that. Okay. And see, catch dot 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 is about catching something other than what we have specified so far. Okay. But then in fact, see this thing, I just say catch care, I have not specified a value here, it is fine. If I do not, I just want to take an action on the type of the input, I do not need to do anything. Okay. If I want the integer value that is passed, in this case it is, and because I am using it in this display, I may specify that value. I do not need that character value. So, I am not using character something here. So, both are fine. So, both character catch character is fine, catch character C is also fine. Both of them are acceptable. Okay. There is something called exception specification, which I talked about. That is kind of a guarantee from the programmer that my function is not going to throw any other exception than this, and this guarantee is very important. Please understand, if you look from the library designer and user problem, if I am using a third party library, how do I know which kind of exception should I handle? The exception specification will tell me that if ever it is thrown my exception, my function will throw integer and character exceptions only and nothing else. Okay. So, if that is specified, I know yes, I will have to only handle these two exceptions and nothing else. So, I just use as called that function in try block and have catch int and catch care, that is all. For example, okay, and there is something called rethrow. Okay. So, exception specification is about that, and you write something like this. Okay. You write, this is my function and I write this is called exception specification. Throw int care, that means my function is only going to throw int or care and nothing else. Okay. If any other type is thrown, there is a function called unexpected is called and terminate the program prematurely. Okay. So, but in turn it is going to call terminate. Now, you may be surprised, in both cases, in the earlier case when the exception is not caught, it calls terminate and the terminate calls abort, unexpected again it calls abort or terminate. Why they do not use the same function, and we will see why it is so soon. And user can override this default, and we will see how to override this. But this is about one more very important thing is that when I say that my function does not throw int care, I mean that the exception throwing out of this function, if there is an exception thrown which I manage to handle myself, that is not it. Okay. I may throw some other exception and handle it myself, no problem. Whenever my function throws this thing out, this is the problem. Obviously, because I am going to use this library function, then and then I need to bother. If I am the person who is writing it, or I generate some other exception and managing it, this is not, this has nothing to do with it. Okay. Now, sometimes the problem is a little more severe. For example, there is a library which provides you a function and you using that function. You just open some network connection, define some objects with new and all that, and now you just call this function. Now, this function throws some exception. Now, when the function throws this exception, because when I am calling this function, probably I am getting the value which I provide as an argument to this function is coming from some other source. Okay. Maybe user is providing, or I am reading that thing from the file, or some network channel is sending me that information. I am using that piece of information to call this function. When I call this function, I realize that I cannot proceed further, because it has thrown an exception. What I need to do is to catch that exception right here and close my all files and destroy the objects that I have created, and I am done with it. But unfortunately, the job is not done here, because the information, the piece of information that I have received from outside probably is the cause of this error. I will have to also report that to the caller. Now, try to understand, I am actually handling the exception, but I also want to raise the same exception and pass it up. In this case, I will have to use rethrow, and rethrow is nothing great. I will have to again use throw function in my catch statement. After catching it, we will raise the exception again and it will send it up. Okay. Now, we will talk about the set terminate function. So, before we do it, please understand why we need this. I have a try block and there is a catch block. I call a function which throws some exception. Now, catch might have provided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 some types. Now, this throws a type which cannot be caught here. Now, what will happen if this is the function which is called by some other function? If this is not called, this is not handled here, will terminate. Even if there is a possible to handle it here, it will not do it. Once you have a try, you have to have a corresponding catch. If the catch is not possible to manage it, you are in trouble. Okay, I will call terminate, and the terminate actually calls abort and the program is abnormally terminated. Now, you do not want to call the system defined terminate in this case, you want to do something yourself. You would like to say that fine, I assume that this function that I am calling uses this, and so I am doing it, but if I cannot manage it, throw something other than I expect, I have to have something else, and I am providing that. When I am providing my own terminate, I will have to tell the system that this is my terminate function. So, instead of, so you just define your own terminate. So, whenever an exception is thrown which is not possible to be caught, or you forgot to write try, that is the other problem. You just call a library function without using try. What will happen if that library function throws an exception, for example, new? We will call terminate. Now, you do not want to do it. What you can do is you can just write your own terminate function and tell set terminate to tell the system that now onwards do not use system defined terminate, use my own terminate. Okay. So, how that is done? I just define my own terminate function like this, and I am actually writing a very simple code, and this function is very simple. It just says a user defined terminator, that is all. I am not doing anything actually. I would otherwise have written a complete code of undoing whatever I want to, whatever cleanup job that I want to do, I will write that code and then call exit. Okay. This is what I want, and remember, for set terminate I need to include exception. Okay. So, do not forget to do it, and this is my terminate function. Now, I will have to also tell the system that my terminate function is this. So, I do it this way. The program is, again you can see that very simple. I just define this thing outside, and because I need that signature here. So, I just write that thing here, and just call set terminate my terminate. Now, you will tell that a very important statement for us. It tells the system that if ever an exception is thrown and not caught, please do not call the system defined terminate function, call my terminate function. So, we will call this my terminate function. Okay. So, inside main now you just generate an exception. Obviously, because the exception is generated and not caught, the next statement will not be executed. What you get is something like this, and this is the exception generator, and this generates that exception. Okay. This is a common thing which we have already seen. So, what does it do? It goes inside the main, which calls xgen. Okay. Okay. Main calls xgen. If you can see that exception generator is called here. Okay. The main calls this function, and because main calls this function, it goes inside. When it goes inside, it throws. Once it throws, it has to be caught, but there is no try here, you can see that. So, we will actually try to see if it is there in main. Is there in main? There is no, if you have a try statement here and then catch here, probably you will be able to manage it, but there is no try catch, we have not written it. So, what will happen? It says user defined, it will calls the terminate, but it will not call the user the system's terminate, it will call this terminate, my terminate, which we have already defined, and we have stated something like this. So, that is called. Okay. The other critical case is set unexpected. So, suppose if I have written a function and I have provided a throw specification telling that I will only send int 10char and nothing else. What if I throw something else? Now, as a designer, I am very interested in learning about if my function is not doing something like that. So, what I do is I write once I have defined those functions in the library, also write a demo code for testing, where I just call all those functions, okay, and with the required catch statements and try and those catch statements. If ever somebody changes that function to throw other than try this thing int or char, I should be able to catch them. Okay. So, how should I be able to do it? In fact, if it throws something other than exception specification, what will it do? Will terminate the program. If I do not want to terminate the program or whatever, I can use the set unexpected to change that method, because whenever an exception which is other than what is specified in the throw specification is thrown, it in turn calls unexpected, which in turn calls abort. So, we do not want that default behavior, we would like to change, we will have to use this set terminate, which is very similar to set this thing my terminate, set terminate. Okay. So, the first thing that we do is set unexpected my unexpected. So, I write something called my unexpected and I just use set unexpected, just call it. Now, you are telling the system that instead of calling the conventional unexpected, call my unexpected, which I have already written. Okay. Now, I am doing it. I am writing an exception generator and I am telling that I will only send int or char and nothing else. I am actually promising, this is called a promise, I am promising that I will not be sending anything, throwing anything other than int and char, but then I am actually doing something opposite to it. I am throwing this thing and I am throwing it. I am violating the promise, I am violating the exception specification. In this case, it should throw unexpected and will draw this thing, it will invite abort and the program will crash. But in this case, because we have already specified this, it is our unexpected which is being called. Okay. And I have written my unexpected in a very simple fashion. I just write one cout statement. So, when you execute, you realize that it is our own function which is being called. We have not written any cleanup action right here, because basically this is a code for explanation. But if you write a real industry level code, you will be writing a lot of cleanup actions here. Okay. So, what will happen? It said same way we will call main, which in turn call xgen, and when it calls xgen, we will find that the exception which is not specified in the the exception specification is thrown. When that happens, it has to report an error using unexpected, but it will calls are unexpected, and that is the reason why it says user defined unexpected. And you can see that this program ended with an exit code 255. We have not written it actually. It is basically the exception which is which said so. The program is actually terminated because when we exit using -1, it picks up this value and write. Okay. Before we proceed further, you probably ask why there are two functions. I have told you that set unexpected is one, set terminate is the other. Please understand where are they being used. Set unexpected is being used by the library designer. Set set terminate is used by library user, and set unexpected is used by library designer, because when you are violating an exception specification is the designer's problem. When you promise that my function is not going to throw anything other than int k and I is doing it, is your problem, you must check it. Whenever I am receiving, I am calling a function and that function throws an exception which I cannot catch, it is my problem. So, I set terminate is a user's problem, set unexpected is basically there to handle the designer's problem. That is the reason why both the functions are different. Okay. And here it is. So, designers need set unexpected to debug their library functions, okay, and try to see if they are throwing something other than what they have promised. And users need set terminate to set the path for cases where the exceptions thrown by library functions are not handled in the code. Okay. Okay. There is one more important function that is left in this module to be discussed. We have already seen the problem. Okay. I write the code and I am playing with that code. Now, and I write try and then call the function, and that function might throw an exception. Because I have written the try block, I am telling the C++. So, what exactly happens when you write the try this thing? Okay, when you say try something, okay, you define object 1, object 2, and then you probably have throw or call a function which throws something. Now, what will happen actually? Once the exception is thrown, because it is a part of the try block, each object one after the other will have to be destroyed in exactly reverse or inverse order in which they are defined. So, probably object n is defined just before throw, object n will be destroyed first and so on and so forth. That is to be done, that is very, very important. Okay. So, when you are doing it, suppose if object 2 has a destructor, and that destructor itself throws some exception. Now, that is a problem, because I am actually handling an exception, I am in the middle of handling the exception, and as a part of handling it, I am inviting the destructor of this object. Okay. When I invite that, it throws another exception. Now, one exception is yet to be handled completely and the other exception is thrown. Now, this is a serious situation. C++ cannot manage this and will call abnormal termination. Okay. So, that is to be managed. How it is done actually? What I can do is I can use something called uncaught exception. Function. I just say the if uncaught exception, if there is an uncaught this thing going on, do not call, we will not do it. Otherwise, we may throw, because this object may be destroyed. Suppose if this throw, the function is successfully completed, the block gets over. The block gets over, even in that case the objects which are defined will be destroyed one after the other exactly in the inverse order in which they are defined. So, in that case also the destructor will be caught, but at that point of time the uncaught exception is not true. So, at that time you can throw an exception. Okay. So, there are two cases, one which is a normal object destroy case, where you are allowed to throw exception. With the other case, you are not allowed to throw exception. So, both these things are to be handled, and for that this uncaught exception is quite handy. Let us see how it works. Okay. So, it talks about this stack unwinding operation when the exception is thrown. Objects defined until the beginning of the try block are to be destroyed one after the other. The object constructors, and this is typically the case with constructors using new, the dynamic memory allocated constructors. And I have already told you C++11 has the luxury of having garbage collector, but if you are using an old compiler which does not support C++11, probably this is not for you. So, you will have to use try catch and you will have to make sure that the proper destructors are called. Okay. So, that is, there are two cases, one is safe, which is a normal object destroy case, I can throw an exception which is a safe case. But when stack unwinding process is happening as the outcome of an exception being thrown, the destructor cannot throw an exception on its own, that is called unsafe case. So, I will have to check whether I am in safe or unsafe case, and for which I need to use this uncaught exception. The logic is like this: if uncaught exception, and this part will be there in the destructor, it says that if there is an uncaught exception, then do without throwing, do whatever, but do not throw, because if you throw, the program will have prematurely terminated. Else follow normal destruction algorithm and throw if you need. Okay, now let us see an example. See, this exception is needed for uncaught exception as well. Now, the example that I have devised here is purposefully designed for a case which demands this set unexpected, and that is the reason why we have used a C type string here. We are not using a string object. So, what we are doing is we are defining a message, a pointer, and whenever C message function is called, whatever message is passed as an argument will allocate that much amount of memory and plus 1 to accommodate null character, and then copy this message there. Okay. So, this is what we are doing, this message is being copied, whatever I am passing two arguments to it, one is a message and the other is the length of that message, and for that length I am copying this one after the other, the characters one after the other are copied into this, a very simple program, and at the end you just specify it to be 0, that is null. Now, you can understand that there is nothing great about this, but one of the most critical this thing is that this constructor calls new, and this is critical, because I need a destructor which deletes this. If I do not write destructor which deletes that, once the program gets over, I have a memory leak, or the program is running and the code gets this particular snippet gets over, I am working on something else and there is a memory leak. Okay, and this is the destructor, and this is where the beauty is. I can say that if there is an uncaught exception which is on, okay, then this uncaught exception is in process, I will display this whatever message it is, star this is the message. Okay. The message is being displayed, and you can see the usefulness of star this in this case. Okay. So, for that message the uncaught exception is in progress, okay, and then call delete. So, it is checking if it is uncaught exception is true, it will tell you that uncaught exception is true, and one care that I must take is not to throw. So, we are not throwing actually. It is not so, then we will say no uncaught exception when again star this. Okay. So, I am just displaying the message, and actually if I want to test this, I need two different types of messages. One message which is part of the try block. So, whenever I throw something, that try block is called and the object is destroyed when the exception is not completely handled. So, at that point of time this code will be executed, and I also have to have one more message which is not part of the try block. So, whenever the particular block gets over, that object will be destroyed normally without any exception being handled, and at that point of time where we are going to call that. Okay. So, normal. So, that in that case this will be called, and that purposefully we have written the code in that fashion. So, we are defining two different string constants, one message defined outside try block and one message defined inside try block. Okay. And see that the first message is constructed, the first object is constructed outside try block. Now, this is very important for you to understand. This is part of this message is constructed inside try block. So, when I execute this throw dummy, what will happen? Will destroy all objects prior to it, one after the other. Okay. So, this is the destructor of C message of OMSG2 will be called when the exception is not completely handled. There is an uncaught exception being progressed, and when you come out of this, the exception is over, and then you will come out of this. Okay. When you come out of try, this particular, when you come out of it, your exception generation function also gets over. When you come out of this function, whenever you come out of that function, this particular object will be destroyed, and that message 2 will be message 1 will be destroyed after the exception generation function gets over, and at that point of time there is no exception being handled. Okay. So, it will be the other case. Now, when you run, you will get the response exactly in that fashion. So, I am just calling xgen and return 0. So, you will get the message. Now, uncaught exception is in process when message defined inside try block. This is message number 2, and then the exception is caught. Please understand, this caught comes after, because when the function is called, when this thing, okay, when it is thrown, before it is caught, this is destroyed. So, this message is printed before catch, and once it comes here, this caught dummy comes into picture. Okay. So, this caught dummy comes after this, and once that is done, exception generation function will get over, and once that get over, the second message is printed, and at that point of time there is no uncaught exception. So, it is printed accordingly. With that note, friends, we come to an end of this discussion about exception handling. Exception handling actually is much bigger than what we have talked about. There are many system defined functions, and there are ways one can handle, but there is no great logic behind it. You just have to write the proper try block, and whenever you call a library function, you have to know exactly what kind of exceptions are thrown. The exceptions, unlike other error numbers, are string, okay, normally. So, they are objects basically. So, you can actually manage them in a far better way. So, you can display messages and so on and so forth, but I am not going to discuss about them. What we have seen here is how one can define multiple catch blocks, what is something called exception specification, which is basically a promise to the user that these are the only exceptions which are being thrown. We have also seen that what happens if the user fails to provide a catch for something which is being thrown from a library function. Okay, it calls terminate, and in turn it calls abort. Then if you want to modify that process, you can write your own terminate function, and you can specify that using set terminate function, telling the system that this is my own terminate. Similarly, the library user can also specify what if I am going to throw something which is not, I violate the promise. Okay, I am throwing something other than what I have specified in the exception specification. Then the default is to call unexpected, which in turn calls abort. In this case, what we do is we define something called set unexpected and provide our own function here. Instead of calling the system defined function, our own function is called, okay, and takes this thing cleanup action if there is a need. We have also seen send if uncaught, okay, uncaught exception. So, uncaught exception will help in writing a destructor. So, whenever uncaught exception is there, you should not throw, otherwise you can throw. So, with that note, we will conclude this exception specification discussion. Thank you all friends, have a good time.